Ella and the Cloud Dancers. Once upon a time, in a small seaside village called Misty Cove, there lived a young girl named Ella. Ella loved watching the clouds. Every day after school, she would sit on a hill overlooking the sea, staring at the sky as the clouds drifted by. She imagined them as giant animals, ships, and castles floating above the world. But there was one thing she wished for more than anything: to touch the clouds and dance among them. One breezy afternoon, Ella was on her favorite hill, daydreaming about floating among the clouds, when she noticed something unusual. A small, fluffy cloud had floated down closer than usual, almost brushing the tops of the trees. It shimmered in the golden light of the setting sun. And as Ella watched, she saw something even more incredible. A ladder made of soft woven light unfurled from the cloud, touching the ground right in front of her. Ella's heart raced with excitement. She looked around, but no one else was there. It was as if the cloud was inviting her to climb aboard. Taking a deep breath, she reached out and touched the glowing ladder. It felt like warm silk beneath her fingers. She couldn't resist. Ella began to climb. As she climbed higher and higher, she felt a gentle breeze lifting her, carrying her weight with ease. When she reached the top, she found herself standing on the softest, fluffiest cloud she had ever imagined. It was like standing on a pillow made of marshmallows. She looked around and saw that she was not alone. There were others on the cloud, beings made entirely of mist and light. They looked like people, but their forms shimmered and shifted like clouds in the wind. They smiled at her warmly. "Welcome, Ella," one of them said in a voice that sounded like a gentle breeze. "We are the Cloud Dancers. We've seen you watching us from your hill, and we thought you might like to join us." Ella could hardly believe her ears. You've seen me?" she asked, her voice barely a whisper. The Cloud Dancer nodded. "Yes, we've watched you admire the clouds day after day. Few people notice us, but you have a heart full of wonder, and that's what allows you to see us." Ella's eyes sparkled with excitement. "Can I really dance with you?" she asked. The Cloud Dancers nodded, and one of them held out a hand. Ella took it, and instantly the cloud beneath her feet seemed to lift and swirl. The Cloud Dancers began to move, twirling and gliding across the sky, and Ella moved with them. She danced across the cloud, her feet barely touching the surface, as they drifted over the village, the sea, and the distant hills. The world below looked so small, and Ella felt like she was flying. The wind played a gentle melody, and the clouds swirled in beautiful patterns, forming shapes of dolphins leaping through the sky, castles with turrets that reached the stars, and gardens filled with flowers made of mist. Ella laughed with joy, her heart feeling lighter than air. She twirled and spun with the Cloud Dancers, feeling as if she were part of the sky itself. As they danced, Ella noticed that one of the clouds in the distance looked different. It was dark and heavy, with sharp edges that seemed out of place among the fluffy white clouds. The Cloud Dancers noticed it too, and their movement slowed, their faces growing concerned. "That is the Stormcloud," one of the Cloud Dancers said, their voice tinged with worry. "It has lost its way. If it grows too large, it could bring trouble to the village below." Ella looked at the Stormcloud, which rumbled with distant thunder. "What can we do?" she asked. The Cloud Dancers exchanged glances. "It needs someone to guide it back to its proper path," one of them said. "But it is stubborn and won't listen to us. Perhaps Perhaps it would listen to you, Ella. Ella felt a flutter of nerves in her stomach, but she nodded. I'll try, she said. The cloud dancers led her to the edge of their cloud, and Ella took a deep breath before stepping onto a small, fluffy cloud that floated toward the Stormcloud. As she approached, the air grew cooler, and she could hear the low grumble of thunder. Hello? Ella called out, her voice steady but gentle. Stormcloud, can you hear me? The Stormcloud rumbled, and a face began to form in the dark mist, a face that looked sad and a little angry. Who are you? It asked, its voice deep and echoing. I'm Ella, she said. I'm here to help. You look lost. The Stormcloud sighed, and a few raindrops fell. I am lost, it admitted. I was meant to travel over the mountains, but I got turned around. Now I don't know where to go, and I'm filled with too much energy. Ella smiled gently. I can help you find your way, she said, but you need to calm down first. Can you release some of your rain over the sea? It will help you feel better. The Stormcloud hesitated, then slowly began to drift toward the sea. As it did, it released a gentle rain, and Ella could see the cloud growing lighter, its dark edges softening. The face in the cloud looked calmer, and the rumble of thunder faded to a soft murmur. Thank you, Ella, the Stormcloud said. I feel better now. I think I can find my way. Ella smiled. I'm glad I could help, she said. The Stormcloud began to drift away, heading toward the distant mountains, and Ella returned to the cloud dancers, who cheered for her bravery. You did it, Ella, one of them said. You have a true heart, full of kindness and courage. Ella blushed, feeling proud. The cloud dancers took her hands once more, and they danced together across the sky, the clouds swirling in beautiful, joyful patterns. Ella knew she would never forget this night, the night she danced with the clouds and helped a lost Stormcloud find its way. As the first light of dawn began to touch the horizon, the cloud dancers brought Ella back to her hill. The ladder of light unfurled once more, and Ella climbed down, her feet touching the soft grass. She looked up and waved as the cloud dancers drifted away, their forms blending with the morning sky. Ella sat on the hill, watching as the clouds floated higher and higher until they were just specks in the sky. She felt a warmth in her heart, knowing that she had been part of something magical, something that most people would never believe. From that day on, whenever Ella looked up at the clouds, she smiled, knowing that her friends, the cloud dancers, were up there, dancing across the sky. And whenever a storm rolled in, she knew it was just a cloud finding its way. And she felt a sense of peace, knowing that even the stormiest clouds could find their path with a little kindness. And so, Ella continued to visit her hill, daydreaming and watching the clouds, knowing that the magic of the sky was always just above her, waiting to take her on another adventure.